Hello, this is an online letter to Mr. Hamlin, the principal of Wanstead High School, and to the Redbridge Borough Judges for the Speak Out Challenge. You produced an ISIS recruiting video. Isn't that great? Congratulations. You put forward a little girl called Leanne Mohamad from your school who talked about birds, not bombs. Let's play a little bit of her entry and then we'll discuss it.
How many of us wish to relive our childhood? It was fun, right? Sleeping, eating, playing games. How many of us love playing hide and seek? Raise your hand. I know I did, or still do. But what if I told you that for some children across the world, hide and seek is not just a game, but a matter of life or death? Think about it. How would you feel if you were woken every morning by bombs and not birds?
Is she talking about children being woken every single day by bombs?
How would you feel if you didn't even feel safe in your own home? How would you feel if you witnessed your own family die in front of you? If for 68 years they bombarded your land?
Hang on, 68 years? The Syrian civil war hasn't been going 68 years.
Took away your genuine human rights and killed your families and children. How would you react? Well, this aggression, this oppression, this injustice.
This oppression, this aggression, this injustice. Oh!
It's been going on for over half a century. Since 1948 till this very day, more than 30,000 innocent Palestinian children have been killed.
So here's where the big problem starts and why this is an ISIS recruiting video. This girl has just come up with a figure of 30,000 children killed. There haven't even been 90,000 dead total Arabs since the start of all wars pre the existence of modern Israel. It's around 90,000. 30,000 children? No way. This is a blood libel. This is a story, a lie told by people to get other people to hate Jews. It's called a blood libel. It's been done for centuries about Jews. She's only talking about the Jewish state, Israel. She is not talking about the Syrian civil war. That might be upwards of 500,000 dead total just in the last 5 years. She's talking about Israel, the one and only Jewish state, which has been attacked over and over and over and over by Arabs. And yes, there were casualties. You attack Israel, you get hurt. Here's the little link to ISIS. Everyone knows that we've tried to solve this conflict in many different ways. We've tried giving up land for peace. That doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is because fundamentally, every time we've offered the Palestinians, the Arabs who have now called themselves Palestinians, every time we've offered them a state, they've turned it down. They turned it down in 48. And every time since, they've had amazing offers. Amazing offers, as Donald Trump might say. And they turn them all down. The reason? They don't want a state. They want to destroy us. They do not want a Jewish state. This is jihad. This is the Muslim jihad to remove Jews and Israel, or at least make us subservient dhimmis in our own land. We say, no, we're not going to do that. We are not going back to submission to Islam and living under the Sharia and the discriminatory laws that are built into that. No. And this is exactly what ISIS want to do. They want to do it first to Israel and the rest of the world after. That is why this is an ISIS recruiting video.
Palestine, one country, one voice, and one dream. Since the start of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, Israel has been fighting Palestine with the most advanced weapons.
Except, of course, until a few years ago, it was the Arab-Israeli conflict, until they got together and came up with the Palestinian identity, as I've spoken about many times.
Whilst Palestine have no army, no government, no money, nothing.
They've got a government. It's called the Palestinian Authority. It's the biggest recipient of foreign aid of any group of people anywhere in the world per capita. They've had more billions thrown at them than anyone else. And they've even, yes, been given guns and arms by the Americans and others. Yes, they've got a government, they've got weapons, and they know how to use them.
1 in 3 of the world's refugees are Palestinian, and the time has come to stop the suffering of these innocent children.
that 1 in 3 of the world's refugees are Palestinian because of a travesty of allowing the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren like you to call themselves refugees when you're housed in safety and comfort in a nice affluent suburb of London. This, you, a refugee, please.
I am Palestinian and I am human. I shouldn't have to remind the world of that. Most importantly, I am proud of who I am. I am also Muslim and Islam is perfect, but I am not. So if I make a mistake, you blame it on me and not on my religion, because terrorism has no religion.
Yes, terrorism has no religion, but plenty of terrorists have your religion. Maybe you want to actually investigate that a little bit.
And this all comes to equality. Nobody should be discriminated because of their culture, their country, or their race. Discrimination is wrong.
Please explain to me why so many foundational texts of Islam talk about Muslims and others, and not very nicely.
Palestinians should not be discriminated for who they are. Every day their homes, schools and hospitals destroyed. They're left with nothing.
Time for a little talk about why we have to bomb homes and schools. It's because Palestinians have chosen to fight from their civilian population areas and throw rockets and other ammunitions towards civilians in Israel. I am sitting in my bomb shelter. This is a bomb shelter. It's a bomb shelter on the 7th floor of the building I live in. It is my bomb shelter. It has a steel door. It has steel shutters that I can put over the windows just up there. This is the bomb shelter I hid in with my children in 2014 and before, when rockets were flying toward Tel Aviv. These were fired from residential areas in Gaza. Residential areas where children, yes, the Palestinian children, where they live, outside of schools, and even from command centers in a bunker under the main hospital in Gaza. This is where Hamas choose to fight their war from. Israel, as has been noted by every expert worth listening to, people like Richard Kemp, the former commander of NATO forces in Afghanistan, they have said, and we know, Israel takes the utmost care to avoid civilian casualties, even warning people with leaflets and telephone calls, and even small bombs that knock on the roof, a procedure that America has now adopted latterly. We take unbelievable care. And why? Because we value life. We value our lives. That's why I have a bomb shelter. The builder was forced to put a bomb shelter in this apartment. I was not allowed to live here unless there is a bomb shelter. And I'm a long way from Gaza. Your people, the Palestinians, do not have bomb shelters because every one of them that dies, every child, every Palestinian child that dies is an absolute weapon, and it's put into your hands to use against the Jews. It is a weapon of war. Each death of a Palestinian child that they force us to kill by mistake. When an F-16 pilot gets up in the morning and straps on his multi-million-dollar plane, he does not get in it with the intention of killing a child. He does everything possible to avoid killing a child. I know this because one of my neighbors is one of the guys who sits in the command center deciding whether or not to allow the pilots to drop their bombs. I have heard him. I know him. He sits there looking at a monitor, and if he sees something on the screen that looks like a child or a civilian of other sorts, he will actually tell the pilot, no, do not drop your weapons, fly home. This is what we do. This is who we are. This is our humanity. And you have the nerve to stand there in England and say that we deliberately kill children in their homes?
Not even their basic human rights. What madness is it that a dog is more protected by animal rights than a child in Palestine is by human rights? Okay, now just imagine a young boy, a Palestinian refugee, only 1 year old, suffering from a severe heart disease, yet not being offered the correct medical care because he was Palestinian.
Medical care, okay. Palestinians don't build hospitals. They don't build hospitals. We build all the hospitals. We build hospitals in Israel and we build hospitals in the Palestinian Authority areas. We built hospitals since 1967. We built universities too, but you don't really care about those.
What happened to him? He died. He died because he was Palestinian.
He passed away so that you could use him as a cognitive weapon of war against Jews.
Discrimination is wrong, and I prove to you that it still happens in today's society because that boy was my baby cousin, and he passed away a few weeks ago because he was Palestinian.
Every single day, Palestinians come to Israel to be treated in our amazing hospitals. The head of the PA, Mahmoud Abbas, sends his wife to the hospital that's 10 minutes walk from my house, Asuta. That's where my father was treated a few months back. Same place, same hospital. My wife was just in Hadassah Hospital. Arabs everywhere. She shared a room with an Arab woman. No problems. No problems. We treat Arabs. There are Arabs being treated all over the place. We have all the good hospitals. This is true because that's what we do. We build that stuff. To say that an Arab child died because of not access to a hospital, well, that is something we do not do on a discriminatory basis. Arabs get treated in our hospitals. Medical cases are always given priority. Now, that doesn't stop you guys from putting bombs in ambulances, as has happened on a number of occasions, but even then we have to check them and we let as much through as we have to. You're going to pin the death of some cousin of yours. You're not really giving us any details to go on. If you give them to me, I will look into it. I'd love to know. And you're going to use this as an emotional tool with your neuro-linguistic programming and all the training that you've had to dig the knife in further and further destroy this beautiful Jewish state that we've built, this beacon to the world, the one that's going to have a gay rights parade through Tel Aviv in a few days' time. The biggest and only gay rights parade in the Middle East, of course, because in Syria or Iran or Iraq, they're either hanging them from cranes or throwing them off buildings. You're using the death of a cousin as a weapon, a cognitive warfare weapon to destroy my home, my indigenous home, the home of the Jews, the land where our culture and civilization was born.
Palestine is my country, my land and my home. Their pain is my pain and their freedom is my freedom. And I believe that if war can happen in 24 hours, then so can peace. So I leave you with the most inspirational quote of Nelson Mandela. Our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians.
Of course, you end with Mandela, somebody else's hero, the one who actually did come back from terrorism, renounce it, and turn to peace, and put South Africa back together again, who knows for how long. You use him. He also said, of course, that Israel cannot concede land until the Arabs recognize it, something which still has not happened and hasn't happened from the PA or Hamas or Hezbollah or anybody else.
So let's together all say, Free Palestine.
So there we have it. An amazing, brilliant ISIS recruiting video created in a school in England. Well done, Mr. Headmaster, and all of the staff, the coaching staff. She's brilliant. She's talking purposefully. She's using great hand gestures. She's using little neuro-linguistic programming tips. She has taken on board all of the tricks you can pass to her in order to deliver lies, misinformation, and vile, bitter Jew hatred. Jew hatred. Hatred of the one and only safe country in the world for Jews. That is the state of Israel, the wonderful little state of Israel that we've carved out of the desert on the land that our ancestors knew and from where our amazing civilization sprang and gave the world unbelievable and untold gifts. She is demonizing it. And you, the adults all around her, the teachers and all of the support staff and everybody who awarded this travesty of a presentation a first prize in your little competition, you are aiding and abetting Jew hatred. Well done. Well done.